Have you ever pondered the mystery of Flight MH370? It's a tale that begins like any other in the wee hours of March 8, 2014. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a sophisticated Boeing 770-200ER, roared to life on the runway of Kuala Lumpur International Airport. With a departure time of 12:41 in the morning, local time, it set course for Beijing Capital International Airport. On board were 239 souls, a mix of passengers and crew, each with their own stories, dreams, and destinations. As the aircraft ascended, it entered into routine communication with air traffic control, a symphony of voices and signals that guided it safely over the South China Sea. Everything seemed as it should be, another regular night flight embarking on its journey. But soon, this routine flight would take a disturbing turn. Just about an hour after takeoff, the unexpected happened. Flight MH370, a Boeing 777-200ER, carrying 239 souls, was cruising over the South China Sea. It was a routine flight, with routine communication between air traffic control and the cockpit. But then, something went terribly wrong. Suddenly, and without warning, Flight MH370 vanished from radar screens. Just like that, it was as if the plane and all those on board had been plucked from existence. This shocking disappearance occurred around 1:21 in the morning, local time. There was no distress call, no hint of trouble. One moment, the plane was there, and the next, it was not. The blip representing the plane on radar screens simply disappeared, leaving a void that was as baffling as it was alarming. Air traffic controllers, their eyes glued to their screens, struggled to comprehend this disappearance. They tried multiple times to re-establish contact with the aircraft, but it was as if they were reaching out into a great void. Every call, every attempt to make contact was met with silence. The plane, once a beacon of life and movement, had become a ghost. Airline officials were soon informed of the situation. They too tried to re-establish contact with the aircraft. They reached out to other planes in the area, hoping that perhaps they had heard from MH370 or had seen something, anything that might explain its sudden disappearance. But their attempts were in vain. The plane remained silent, its whereabouts unknown. In the face of this bewildering situation, the only thing clear was that something extraordinary had happened. A Boeing 777, one of the most reliable aircraft in service, had vanished without a trace. It was as if Flight MH370 had slipped into another dimension, leaving behind only questions and a deepening sense of unease. And then, Flight MH370 took an inexplicable course deviation. This sudden shift in direction, captured by radar data and military radar systems, marked the beginning of an erratic and mysterious journey that would confound experts and spark one of the greatest aviation mysteries of our time. Not only had Flight MH370 vanished from radar, but it also deviated from its path. This course deviation was, in itself, a mystery that baffled experts and aviation enthusiasts alike. Radar data and military radar systems painted a peculiar picture of the aircraft's movements. After disappearing from the radar screens over the South China Sea, the plane made a sharp left turn. This was no ordinary course correction. It was a drastic deviation that took the plane off its original flight path towards Beijing. The plane was now heading back over the Malay Peninsula, but the erratic behavior didn't stop there. Instead of returning to any known airport, the aircraft continued on its new trajectory, crossing the Strait of Malacca. This was all the more puzzling because the Strait of Malacca is a well-monitored waterway, yet no visual confirmation of the plane was reported. The erratic flight path then took an even more bewildering turn. The aircraft, instead of heading towards any logical destination, veered off into the southern Indian Ocean. This vast remote area is known for its challenging conditions, making it an improbable choice for a pilot seeking to land or ditch a plane. The plane's unusual maneuvers, its sharp left turn, and the erratic flight path left experts stumped. The aircraft's behavior contradicted all known protocols for a plane in distress. These unexpected actions suggested that the plane was under deliberate control or experiencing unprecedented mechanical issues. Against all odds and logic, this series of unexpected turns and maneuvers led the aircraft into one of the most remote and least explored regions on Earth, the southern Indian Ocean. This raised more questions than it answered. Why would the plane venture so far off course? What could possibly be the reason for such an erratic flight path? This initiated one of the most extensive international search and rescue operations in history. Yet, the mystery of Flight MH370's erratic flight path continued to perplex the world, becoming an enigma in the annals of aviation history. The world watched as multiple countries came together to locate the missing plane. The quest to find Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 was not just a singular endeavor, but a global effort. Countries from around the world, including Malaysia, Australia, China, and many others, united to face the daunting task of scouring the vast and remote southern Indian Ocean. The search area was immense, presenting an extraordinary challenge that tested the limits of human determination and technological capabilities. As search and rescue teams combed the ocean, they faced the daunting reality of an ever-expanding search zone. The plane's erratic flight path, coupled with the vastness of the ocean, resulted in a search area that spanned thousands of square miles. It was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Then, against all odds, the first breakthrough appeared. Months after the plane's disappearance, debris began washing up on the shores of several Indian Ocean islands. Among the debris, a flaperon, a part of the wing, was discovered. This was a significant find as it confirmed the plane had indeed crashed in the ocean. Later, more pieces of debris were found, including a stabilizer component and other items. Each piece of wreckage brought a mixture of sorrow and relief. Sorrow for the tragic end of flight MH370, and relief that pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together. The discovery of these fragments offered a glimmer of hope in a sea of uncertainty. It was a stark reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, the tireless efforts of those involved in the search were not in vain. These discoveries not only confirmed the final resting place of flight MH370, but also provided valuable clues to its last moments. They painted a grim picture of a plane that likely exhausted its fuel over the southern Indian Ocean, leading to its tragic end. In January 2015, Malaysia's government made an official declaration about the fate of flight MH370. This marked the end of one chapter in the saga of flight MH370, but the search for answers continues. The mystery of why and how this happened remains, and the quest for closure for the families of those on board endures. The official declaration was both a closure and a beginning of a new mystery. In January of 2015, the Malaysian government officially declared the disappearance of flight MH370 an accident. This decision was cemented by data analysis and scientific evidence that suggested the aircraft, a Boeing 777-200ER, had exhausted its fuel and crashed into the southern Indian Ocean. The decision brought a definitive end to one chapter of this unfolding story, but it also marked the beginning of another. The official declaration was not without its share of controversy. It provided some form of closure to the families of the 239 souls on board, but it also raised a new set of questions. If the plane had indeed crashed in the southern Indian Ocean, why did it deviate so drastically from its original flight path? What prompted the sudden course change over the South China Sea? Was it a deliberate action, a mechanical failure, or a combination of both? These questions have led to a multitude of theories, each one as plausible and as enigmatic as the other. The actions of the flight's crew, the potential mechanical issues, and the reasons behind these events have become subjects of intense speculation, debate, and investigation. Some believe that the plane's erratic flight path was the result of human intervention, while others argue that it was due to a catastrophic system failure. Despite the official declaration, the precise circumstances of the plane's deviation and disappearance remain shrouded in mystery. The search for the main wreckage and the crucial flight data recorders, often referred to as the black boxes, continues. The search area has been refined, and efforts persist in the hope of finding these critical pieces of evidence. The disappearance of flight MH370 is a puzzle that has yet to be solved. The search for conclusive answers continues, and so does our quest to understand the mystery of flight MH370. Each new piece of information, no matter how small, brings us one step closer to unraveling the enigma that is flight MH370. Flight MH370's disappearance remains one of aviation's most perplexing mysteries. We've journeyed through the events of that fateful night in March 2014, from its routine departure from Kuala Lumpur to the abrupt vanishing over the South China Sea. We've traced the unexplained and erratic path it took, crossing over the Malay Peninsula and veering out into the vast, remote expanse of the southern Indian Ocean. The discovery of debris, washed up on distant shores, confirmed the tragic end of the flight, yet the mystery persisted. Despite the official declaration of an accident, the exact circumstances of the plane's deviation and the reasons behind its disappearance remain elusive. The quest for the truth, for conclusive answers, and for closure for the families of the 239 people on board continues. As we continue to search for answers, we remember the 239 people on board and their families. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more videos.